Week number 5, yield estimation and protein assessment in wheat. And this is probably one of the newest topics that we are going into. We'll see more and more specialized applications as we move forward, as we have higher resolution, lower cost, more research. What GEO is trying to do, it's not trying to do, but what we're doing, but we see a lot of potential in the future, is teaming up with the researchers and practitioners where they provide the knowledge of a validated experience. That means something that has worked on the ground. And what we do is support them, as you will see, with the data processing and with the tools to efficiently use that data. For instance, doing a directed sampling based on the imagery layer, or creating a prescription map based on that, or doing on-farm research. So we just provided tools, but we are trying to incorporate this different researches that are going on, what we just saw from University of Missouri and North Dakota, and provide this as services to the market. If you remember the first slide where we saw all the topics of research from USDA ARS, from their researchers or other institutions, we'll see more and more specialized applications. There are a number, and we'll be gathering more information by the end of the course, and we'll provide you with an overview of what's coming up. For instance, even detection of fungus in crops based on thermal images is something that's starting to be analyzed. So we'll see more and more specific applications and more higher value applications of remote sensing. This is a work done by a consultant named Pablo Hinestead. He, as I said, he works for Molinos, a large branded food. They have a lot of land in under wheat. They also have other crops, and we're doing two experiences with them. One is to estimate yields by relating NDVI maps with ground observation of spikelets and grains per head, for instance. And there's a very significant level of correlation, and that allows to estimate yields, let's say 40 days before, 30 days before, 20 days before. That gives good information for marketing and logistics purposes. And also, this approach is being used to estimate protein levels. So we have the yield estimation. We're doing this for the second year. It has been validated and will be available for next year as a service. Protein levels is something we're correlating with ground values, the remote sensing data. And this is a key factor in marketing the product. Could also be applied to correct some deficiencies. And let's very brief overview. Basically, what we do is estimate NDVI. Of course, you receive the sample data sets in English. This is very recent, so as you can see, this is November 9th, 2011, 11/09. It's November 9th. So that was a little bit more than a week ago. And we process the NDVI based on Lancet imagery. Based on that, the consultant goes to the field and correlates some sample points. Well, not surprisingly, but it's always surprised us to see the correlation, the high correlation between the NDVI values and some key characteristics from the wheat, spikelets and number of grains per head, namely. Those are the two things that are related with NDVI. And this allows also relating the spikelets number of grains with yields by transition. A yield estimation map can be generated, and before harvest know what's going to be the yield and where. This is, I believe, tons per hectare. We'll have to translate to bushels per acre, the sample data set. And we can have an estimated yield. And based on last year, it was pretty accurate. I will let Pablo, and probably I will present for him, but I will base my conclusions on his material. So that's number one. That's a yield estimation. This could be applied to other crops, just like Rescue N by Dr. Peter Scarf could be applied to other crops. It just requires validation. Not just, it requires validation in a good number of cases. So number one, it's yield estimation, and this is something that's being done with relatively low cost imagery and with very accurate results. Number two, in those wheat fields, this year we're testing protein estimation. This could be captured with unmanned aerial vehicles or with regular planes. Unmanned aerial vehicles hold a lot of promise because it's going to, once the logistics is in place, it can bring the cost down. There's still some technical issues that have to be addressed, autonomy, scale, and so on, but we're starting to do this with a company called Aria Imaging, who did the flights. So we're doing this flights with multispectral cameras with this little plane sphere, and we get somewhere between 20 centimeters to 1 meter, less than 1 foot to 3 feet resolution, depending on the flight, on the height of the flight. And chlorophyll will have somehow a different algorithm, but you're always talking about indices here. You have different bands, and you combine them in different ways and obtain different indices. So, and if there will be a ground correlation with protein levels in wheat.